Nick Cannon told the world he lets his 15-year-old son, Moroccan, date. His twin sister, Monroe, not allowed. The receipts are online right now, and his own kids are calling him out for the hypocrisy. Nick Cannon just revealed a parenting rule that makes zero sense. He's cool with his teenage son dating, but completely shuts down his daughter. Social media erupted. His kids responded publicly. And what Moroccan said back? It's not what you'd expect from a 15-year-old. Here's the wildest part. This all happened because Nick decided to explain his logic on camera, but his explanation somehow made it worse. Let's set the stage. Nick Cannon has 12 kids with multiple women. Two of them are twins, Moroccan and Monroe, born in 2011 to ex-wife Mariah Carey. They're 15 years old right now. In a recent interview, Nick talked about how he handles his kids' dating lives. His stance was crystal clear. Moroccan can date. Monroe cannot. Not yet. Not under his rules. The reasoning he gave sounded like something from 1995. He framed it as protection. He said his daughter needed to stay focused. Meanwhile, his son, free to explore relationships. The internet watched this interview drop and immediately had questions. Was he serious? Was he joking? Did he understand how outdated this sounded? Nobody could tell if Nick was being sincere or performing for content. But his kids saw it, and they responded before anyone else did. But here's what caught everyone off guard. Moroccan didn't defend his dad. He called out the double standard himself. On social media, publicly, a 15-year-old boy essentially saying, "That rule doesn't make sense. That's backwards thinking. That's not fair to my sister." Nick Cannon's interview hit different platforms around the same time. In one sit-down, he explained his philosophy on teenage dating. Boys need to learn. Girls need to be protected. That was his framework. Moroccan can date girls. Monroe should focus on school and her future. The logic was, traditional doesn't cover it. It was regressive. It was 1950s parenting dressed up in 2024 language. Social media reactions came fast. Twitter users started tagging Nick directly. TikTok creators made response videos. Reddit threads exploded. The consensus was brutal. This is exactly the kind of double standard that teaches kids harmful lessons. But then, and this is the part most coverage missed, the pushback came from inside the house. Moroccan spoke up on his own social accounts. He didn't ask permission. He didn't soften his words for his dad. He straight up said the rule was hypocritical. That's when the story shifted. This wasn't just about parenting philosophy anymore. This was about a teenager publicly disagreeing with his famous father's worldview. The dynamic changed everything. Nick Cannon has built a brand around being cool with his kids, progressive, open-minded, a parent who gets it. That's his whole public image. But this rule, this dating rule, it contradicted every message he'd ever sent. Monroe was getting the message that her value was tied to her purity, her focus, her being controlled. Moroccan was getting the opposite message. You're a guy, explore, figure it out. The implication landed hard with people watching. This rule teaches gender roles. It reinforces outdated ideas about boys and girls. And Nick had to know that when he said it. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he wasn't thinking that deep. Either way, his own son had to school him publicly about his own parenting. The evidence is all public. Nick Cannon's interview exists in multiple places online. His exact words are documented. Moroccan's responses are on his verified social media accounts. Screenshots of his posts went viral within hours of Nick's interview surfacing. Parents and parenting experts started weighing in with their own takes. One thing the evidence shows clearly: Nick stated this rule confidently. He wasn't hedging. He wasn't presenting it as one option among many. He said it like fact, like this is just how he handles his twins. The evidence also shows that Moroccan didn't stay silent. He engaged directly. He didn't attack his dad. But he made his disagreement undeniable. Here's the take. Nick Cannon got caught in his own hypocrisy, and his 15-year-old son handled it better than he did. 3 things make this clear. 1. The rule itself is indefensible in 2024. It teaches opposite lessons to twins for no reason. 2. Nick said it publicly like it was normal, which means he either didn't think it through or didn't care about the optics. 3. Moroccan's response showed more emotional intelligence than his father's original stance. A kid had to correct an adult about fairness. What should change your mind? This isn't about whether parents can set rules for their kids. It's about what rules say. Rules like this teach daughters their sexuality is dangerous. Rules like this teach sons their sexuality is encouraged. That's the damage. That's what social media is rightfully calling out. And that's why a teenager had to be the adult in the room. This story connects to something bigger brewing in celebrity parenting right now. Next week, we're dropping the full breakdown of how celebrities are handling teenage dating rules and what child psychologists actually say about the damage these double standards create. You'll want to be here for that. Subscribe so you don't miss when we go deeper.